Hi there, I'm Hel and welcome to my channel. Okay, so today I am going to do another tag. This is the Diverse 8 tag that was started by a really awesome YouTuber and author on here called Clarabelle Ortega, and I am so sorry if I'm butchering your beautiful name with my accent, but yeah. I will link to her channel below. She has some really interesting videos about writing and also about her personal experiences with getting an agent and various other things. So yes, and also her dog, Pancho, who is definitely the highlight of her channel. I'm really sorry, Clarabelle, your dog is pretty awesome, so okay, moving right along to the first question, which is, why is diversity important to you? Diversity is important to me for the very simple reason that every reader deserves to see themselves reflected in the fiction that they love. Our fiction is unfortunately dominated by a very white, heteronormative, able-bodied and cisgendered set of characters and worlds, and that just, it doesn't reflect the world that we live in, and it doesn't reflect our readers, and so yeah, that's not okay. It's not okay. So yeah. Adding on to that answer, I also wanted to say that by only writing the white, cisgendered, heterosexual, able-bodied characters, what we're doing is we are sending a message to teens of color, teens who are wheelchair users, teens who are gay or are trans, that they don't have a place in these fictional worlds, that these worlds have been created without them in it, and that they can't be the hero, and that has a real impact, and I think it's very important to keep that in mind, especially as a writer who writes YA. I'm going to kind of combine question 2 and 3, which are, what is the last diverse title you read? What are some of your favorite diverse titles? And I'm going to be completely honest, guys, and say that I am pretty late to the whole diverse books movement and also to On Voices. Before I joined Twitter in July, I actually hadn't heard any of this stuff, so this is all really new to me. But I've been really lucky to meet some people on Twitter who have given me a lot of really great recommendations, and I have bought a lot of books. My wallet doesn't really thank me for that. But yeah, so the book that I'm currently reading, whoa, exposure. The book that I'm currently reading is Timekeeper by Tara Sim, and I promise that this is Timekeeper by Tara Sim and not some weird reversed alternate universe version. The other books that I'm excited about, just to wrap this up, are Justina Ireland's books. I've got both of them, and I did read the start of one of them during Nano, and it almost cost me my writing day because I got sucked in so fast. I love her writing style, so I'm really excited to read those books. Okay, moving on to the next question, which is my absolute favorite question in this whole tag. If you could choose one movie or TV show with diverse representation to become a book series, what would it be? Okay, well, I don't know if you guys can actually tell, but I'm actually dressed for this question. I'm wearing my Starfleet uniform today. Okay, I'm gonna pretend that I'm wearing it for this video, but actually I'm just wearing it because I wanted to wear it because I'm a dork. But anyway, I would love a YA series set in the Star Trek universe, possibly about Starfleet Academy. And when I'm talking about Star Trek, I'm actually talking about the original series before the reboots. I love the reboots too, but I just feel that the message is sort of shifted to be more action-y. And the original show, for me, is more about a positive future for humankind. It's also showing us a future in which people's differences are celebrated, not ignored. So it's not like you're being treated equally regardless of your skin color or your gender or your sexuality. It's you are equal, and also you are all the things that make up your identity, and that's great, and that's celebrated, and that's something that you can explore. And I think that that's a really positive message, especially in the current political climate. I think it would be great for teens to have something really positive to read, a positive version of what the future could be. Okay, next question. I'm kind of losing light. I don't know if you guys can tell because it's so like overexposed anyway, but I'm going to try and speed up a bit. Okay, if you're a writer, do you include marginalized people in your books? Yes I do. And I'm not going to go into that like too much because I could talk forever about this, but yes, my cast includes people of color, people of different sexualities, and also characters with mental illnesses. My main male character, / love interest, Riot, has borderline personality disorder, and but the thing is though that I don't think that writers deserve, especially white writers, deserve cookies or gold stars for including these sorts of characters in our work. These sorts of characters are reflective of people who exist in our world and people who should exist in our fictional worlds. I also just want to say that I do think that it's the responsibility of every writer to write inclusively, because if you're not writing inclusively, then you are excluding people, and that needs to be something that is thought about. Kind of touching back to what I said in my answer to the first question, when you're creating these all white, all straight, all heterosexual, all cisgendered, all able-bodied casts, you need to think about the people who you're excluding, and you need to think about the messages that you're sending those teens that you're excluding. Although just a little obvious disclaimer here, as a white writer, that also means that that needs to be done carefully, that needs to be done with empathy, and that needs to be done with so much research, because there is the potential to harm people with inaccurate or stereotypical representation. Not all representation is good, and you should treat writing people who have experiences outside your own with the same care that you would treat researching anything else in your writing that you don't have personal experience of, and then even more care because of the potential to hurt people if you're careless. Okay, moving on to the next question, which is there a particular identity or experience that you wish was touched on more in fiction? Obviously I am a white, able-bodied, cisgendered woman. I'm also a brunette under this lovely wig. So I'm very, those aspects of my identity are very well represented in fiction, particularly in the Star Wars franchise, which seems to feel the need to represent me in every single movie they make. Maybe they could stop. But one thing about my identity that I don't see represented a lot, and that I would like to see represented more, is the fact that I am asexual. The first time I ever read a book with an asexual character was Garth Nick's book Clariel, and I love Garth Nick. I read pretty much everything that he's written, and I had no idea that Clariel was going to be asexual when I picked up the book, and finding out that she was, even though her experience doesn't reflect mine, she's very, very different to me, but even so, it was really nice. It made me feel really good to see an asexual character in a fantasy setting. Yes, that was really good, and I'm just going to very quickly, very briefly talk about a book that isn't out yet, but that I'm really excited about, and that is 27 Hours by Tristina Wright, and I'm going to put the link below to her pre-order because it's a sci-fi, and one of the characters is asexual, and there's actually representation on the page. I mean, there's no doubt about what that character's identity is. And I'm really excited to read a book that's a sci-fi, because I love sci-fi, and I really love to read a book that includes that aspect of my identity that is a sci-fi. I'm trying not to ramble too much here. I personally, this isn't like I think I'll probably do a video actually about asexuality later, because otherwise I'm going to just ramble on this question. So yeah, I'll make a video on that later. For now, I'm just going to move right along to the next question, which is, do you think that diversity is important to BookTube and AuthorTube, and why? Yes, because a lot of people get their book recommendations from BookTube, so if the same books are being recommended all the time, and those books are not diverse books, then a lot of people aren't going to hear about all the other fantastic books that are out there. So I think that it is our responsibility to just promote these books and to lift up on voice authors and just to let people know that they exist, because this isn't true of all of them. There are some on voice authors that are really successful with movies coming out and big fat paychecks and everything they deserve to have, but there are others that are incredible and that are kind of really I lost my train of thought there. There are others that are just as incredible on voice writers that just don't have the advertising clout behind them to get their names out there. So if we can help with that, then that is great. Okay, final question. What are some of your favorite blogs and resources about diversity? Okay, well, my favorite blog about diversity that I use a lot as a white writer is Writing with Color. It's a blog where you can send in questions, and the mods are actually people of color themselves, and they will answer those questions. But even just if you don't want to actually send in a question yourself, if you just read their archives and read their FAQs, they have a lot of really useful stuff, including a really good guide for describing skin tones without relying on like racist, fetishy stuff like calling skin chocolate and other gross stuff like that. So yeah, well, I'll link them below. Okay, well, I guess that's all there's to say. I want to thank Clarabelle for making such a fun tag, and I don't actually know anybody to tag who hasn't already done this video, but if you're watching this and you want to do it, consider yourselves tagged. I hope you like my video. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe or comment or thumbs up, whatever. That would be awesome. So yeah, thanks for watching, and bye! Yeah. Want to be a map.